Hi guys, welcome back. This is Erin from Painting Those Piggies, and today I know a lot of you guys have been requesting makeup videos, and so I'm going to do a makeup video. And so today is just Sunday morning. I thought that I would just play around with some makeup. So I was looking through my drawers and I noticed a ton of samples. So I actually got the idea to do a full face of makeup using only samples, which I'm actually kind of really excited about this. So I think I have everything covered. I might not have enough face powder because like this is the face powder sample, so we'll see. But like seriously, I think I've got like, then there's more than this, so I probably have enough for 2 different kinds of videos with first impressions on all of these products. But today I'm just going to get started. It's just gonna be super chill and relaxed, and let's get right into the makeup. I have no idea what I'm gonna be doing at this point. So what do I have for bases? I have this Benefit Puff Off, which is for your under eye. So I think I'm gonna try this. And it's got like this little sample of it. It's like a pinky kind of fleshy color. I'm just gonna pop a little bit of this under my eye. So I just put that on. It feels really good. It actually feels like cooling, which I really like. I noticed that as I get older, like I have more lines under my eyes, and I noticed that although I have super oily skin, the lines under my eyes like get really dry, and so this feels really good actually. I'm digging this. Again, that's Benefit Puff Off, and so I'm just gonna let that soak in, and I'm going to look into what kind of primers I have. I know I have a bunch, but primers are normally like my weak point. I can't find a primer I like, so let's see. Okay, so I found these two. I found the Lancome Visonnaire 1 Minute Blur, and I also found the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector. And I think I'm gonna go with the Becca one because I have super oily skin, and oh, clearly I've used this before. All right, we're gonna go with the Lancome one. This is actually like a really big sample. I don't know if this, I would assume it's a primer. It says, in one application, skin imperfections look blurred. Oh, it's probably a treatment. It says in 4 weeks, so we're just gonna use this and pretend it's kind of like a primer. It feels silky, but not like silicone-y. It does feel very silky and smooth. So I'm just going to let that sit in for a second. I pretty much used the entire thing. It does have dimethicone in it. That is the first ingredient, so it does have that slippy feeling, which I normally don't like, but this one feels a little bit different. Alright, so for foundation, I have a lot of foundation samples, but I think all of them are too light for me, and I did find this one. I think I'm going to combine it with 2 different things. I have the Tarte BB Tinted Treatment, and this is in Fair, so I'm going to use that. It does have, it says BB Tinted Treatment Primer, and it has SPF 30 in it, which I appreciate. And then I do have this Lancome Tint-in-Oil Ultra Makeup Stick, and I figured that this wouldn't go very far. It's got like 5 different shades in it. I'm going to use the lightest of them, which is 110 Ivoire, but I don't think, actually that is the lightest shade. It's got like a little shade thing on the bottom. That's the lightest shade. I don't think it's going to be light enough, and I have a little bit of color from the summer, but obviously it's not much color. So I'm going to start with the Tarte BB Tinted Primer, and we'll see how this goes. Of course my hands are slippery, so I can't get it open. Here we go. Okay, it looks like super thick. Let's see. It almost looks like moussey. Let's see what it feels like. Okay. I can already tell I'm gonna hate this. It's like very slippy feeling, which those kinds of things tend to fill into my pores and never blur out, so we'll see. It is light enough, which is good. It is very slippery. It's like almost oily feeling, which having oily skin I do not prefer. Okay, so that, my face looks super light now. That is the Tarte BB Tinted Primer. Honestly, as an oily skin girl, I hate it. I hate it so much. It feels so oily, and normally if something goes on oily, I feel like throughout the day it's just going to make my face look like a can of Crisco. So let's go to the next thing. So we're going to go into the Lancome Ultra Makeup Stick, and I really wanted to, I think I'm going to use the two colors in here. They're 110 Ivory and 220 Buff. I'm just going to put it like where I need it, because I don't really need like super high coverage. My face is okay right now. Just got this one spot. I do have like a lot of discoloration since my skin is so pale, but it's actually covering good enough for me. Normally on like an everyday basis, I don't wear makeup at work just because my job is really physical and I sweat a lot, and it's either like a full face of makeup because I'm gonna film when I get home, or nothing. This actually feels really good. I've really wanted a stick foundation because I feel like it would be so handy, but I haven't been able to find one that people say is good for oily skin. This little sample is going really far. I'm surprised I still have some left. I'm still using the lightest color, which is Ivory, although it could be covering better because I used that Tarte primer underneath. I'm just mainly like going in and filling in like, not necessarily like brown spots, but just discoloration in my skin that I have. It's not like full coverage by any means, but you could I mean, you might be able to build it up. It's very creamy. I would say it's like a light coverage, definitely. Although I am not using the stick, I'm just using the little sampler I have, but it's still going. Alright, so I'm going to call that good. I just used the lightest shade Ivory, and that lasted a long time. It was like the tiniest amount of product, but it actually lasted a long time. I think the coverage is okay. It's mostly like a very light coverage, which is fine. The older I get, the more I don't want like a full face of Instagram makeup. I just want like a natural looking face. So there is the Lancome Tint-in-Oil Ultra Makeup Stick. It does have sunscreen. It says SPF 21, all day color, wear, and comfort. It does feel good on the skin. It's not like a matte finish like I would normally choose, but it's not like very shiny. It's kind of like a demi matte finish, so I like it. I'm digging it so far. So I do have some concealer. I think this is going to be way too dark though, but we'll see. This is the Amazing Cosmetics Amazing Concealer. It came in 4 shades, and there is a fair golden down here. It might be too dark, but we're going to break into it and see. There does seem to be a big color range. It says there's 20 shades on the back, and it does get pretty light. I've recently discovered that I have neutral to warm undertones, which just kind of like rocked my world. I had no idea, but then suddenly like everything I wore and the makeup I chose and the polish colors I chose made sense finally. Like this under my eyes, yeah, it's definitely too dark, but that's all right. It's not like super light. It's not too bad. It's not super light on me. I normally like to stick concealer like down far under my eyes because I have like almost like brown discoloration on my cheeks. So let's just tap this in. And I do use my fingers a lot for makeup. I know a lot of people prefer brushes, but when you're in a hurry, like fingers just work super well for makeup. I'm going to put this in the inner corner, down under my eye. I'm not going to bring it up on my lid just because my lids are super oily. So that covered up pretty well, actually. I do have like deep marks. You can see when I like put my head down, deep marks down there. I don't know how to get rid of those, like to cover them up. I'm just going to throw a second layer on just to see. I normally just try to even my skin tone out now. I have like brown on my cheeks, red around my nose, pink on my chin, so I definitely tried to cover that up. A little bit of this concealer goes a long way though. there is the concealer. It looks almost dewy under my eyes, which I'm not used to, but maybe since my under eyes are getting drier, I might want to consider that. So that is the Amazing Concealer. Amazing Cosmetics Amazing Concealer. It does say a tiny dot does a lot, which I believe. So you can see the kind of dewiness under my eyes. I am going to set that. And I do have this Tarte Smooth Operator. I don't think I've ever used this before. It's this tiny little sample. So let's see. Yeah, the thing isn't even off. The lid isn't even off of it. So I actually recently discovered that I had a little sample of the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I've been using that to separately set my under eyes, and no matter what foundation I have, if it doesn't last throughout the day, I always have my under eyes still set with that Laura Mercier powder. I mean, it is truly amazing. I know that people raved about it before, but I mean, it's amazing. So this is just like a white translucent powder. I'm gonna set my under eyes so they're not, you can see this one is very dewy, the other one's now set. But like I was saying, that Laura Mercier one is freaking amazing. Like, it's funny because some days like my foundation will start to wear off and my under eyes still look perfect, which is not really a good look, but that just tells you how long it actually stays for. So that set my under eyes. I don't exactly know if that's what that was for. It just says smooth operator. It just says finishing powder, so I don't know. We'll see. I've kind of tried to use more lighter powders under my eyes. Not lighter in color, but lighter in like feel to them. They're more finely milled because I feel like it sets them better. I feel like my under eyes looking pretty good. This one looks good. This one looks like I can see a little bit of that dryness. I haven't been able to like find a good eye cream that I'm not allergic to, so I don't use a separate eye cream. I want to, but most of them I'm allergic to. So my eyes are set. I think I'm going to set my face. So I think I'm going to just take this Too Faced Light Medium, which is like the world's tiniest sample, and I'm going to combine it with my Maybelline Fit Me, which is my favorite powder. I'm just going to use this light medium on the outside parts of my face. It's very powdery because it's a little bit dark for me. I feel like my face is super dewy, and it's never dewy. I was actually really surprised. I actually had enough for my entire face, which I powdered the heck out of my face. So this one is obviously too dark for me. I can tell because I can see my neck, but you know, it is what it is. For bronzing, I'm going to use the NARS bronzing powder, and I believe this is Laguna. It's just a little sample. I don't think I've ever tried NARS Laguna, which is crazy because it's like a cult favorite, but lately I haven't been like contouring at all. I've just been bronzing. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this around my face. And I usually haven't been contouring and bronzing too much because it makes my face too dark. I just like to run a little bit down the sides of my nose because I'm actually digging that. You can see just a little shadow there. I'm just going to throw a little bit more on. I like it. It's not like super matte, but it's not shiny either. It's just kind of like a healthy glow. So I like that. NARS Laguna. I can see why people like it. I just realized I don't have a blush, so I'm just going to throw on like a neutral blush and then we'll keep going. I'm just going to take Tarte Celebrate, one of my favorite neutral blushes. I am obsessed with Tarte blushes. I'm just going to use the same brush because I'm lazy. I like have really simplified my makeup routine. I don't do so much of the stuff that I used to, like contouring and just bringing a ton of brushes with me. I'm just kind of into the easy makeup now. So that is just a hint of color. I am going to skip highlighting because I don't really highlight that much anymore. Eye primer. So I'm going to take the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I really like this one. I've gone through a couple of the little mini bottles. And I do have my eyelids blank right now. I don't have any powder, no concealer, anything like that, because if I put stuff on my eyelids, they tend to crease. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm actually gonna take the remaining part of the Laguna and run it through my crease. I do that a lot actually. So I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush, this one's from a set from Target, and start buffing that into my crease. And even on days where I don't wear any eyeshadow at all, sometimes I'll just take some bronzer and put it into my crease because it gives the eyes a little bit of definition. Rosie! Alright, so now I've got a good base in my crease. I don't know what I'm going to do yet today, but I did find these little Urban Decay 7 Days of Shadows. I believe they were just from like an Ulta freebie or something like that, and I've got quite a bit of colors. Oh, it did come with a little primer. There's a pink and a purple, so maybe we'll go that route. There's also a green, which I really like. What do we want to do? The lips I have are like a cherry, so maybe I'm going to go for the pink. We'll just play and see what happens. Reaching for a little brush. I'm going to take this tiny little Real Techniques, what kind of detailer brush? This is like a super tiny brush, and I'm going to go into Urban Decay's Woodstock, which is like a magenta pink. We'll see what happens. So I'm just going to start putting this on the inner part of my eye. It actually builds up quite nicely. I'm just using this tiny brush because I don't want a ton of fallout, but I want to pack the color onto my eyes. So I'm just going in a couple of layers and packing this on my eye so that I don't get a ton of fallout, because I prefer to do my foundation first, just how I like to do my makeup. Okay, so there is Woodstock, and then I think what I'm going to do is there's like a dark brown color. I think I'm going to take that and just kind of do a more neutral eye just with a pop. I'm going to go in with Desperation. It's almost like a taupey, purpley, gray, brown. It's like a deep gray. So let me go in with a different brush. I'm going to pack it on with this e.l.f. smudge brush. I really like e.l.f. brushes. So I'm just going to do that on the outer half. Again, good color payoff. I am a big fan of Urban Decay's eyeshadows. So I'm just kind of working that on the outer half and not worrying about it being blended just yet. So I'm going to dip into that and just start blending out the edges a bit of that pink and the gray. And then I am going to go back in with that pink just because we lost a little bit of the color from blending. So let's go back into that pink, which is Woodstock. Alright, so now I feel like my pink is back, and I think I don't normally use black eyeshadow, but I'm going to take this Urban Decay's Blackout and just put a tiny bit on the outer corner for some depth. I am just going to use my blender brush that I used before, just so it goes on very lightly and minimally. So I'm just putting like the tiniest amount on my brush. So that just gives it like a tiny bit of depth. And I was just touching that to my eye like ever so slightly. And so I'm just going to take the side of the brush and kind of buff that edge out. Okay, so that is my eyeshadow look. It's kind of like a gray with a pop of pink. I like it. And I don't think I have any eyeliner. So I don't have a sample of eyeliner, so I'm just going to go in with my Smashbox Always Sharp 3D liner, and this is in 3D Night Gem. It's like a dark gray. I really like these eyeliners. I've used them before. I've talked about them before. I really enjoy them. I've gone through an entire brown of this eyeliner. So I'm just like messily putting this on my eye, and I'm going to smudge it out. Okay, so there is the eyeliner. I went pretty minimal with it just because I want the pink to stand out. So I think I'm going to take a little bit underneath my eye and just smudge it out a little bit. Just going in the outer half, and I'm not going in my waterline. I don't really like eyeliner in my waterline. I also had LASIK like a month and a half ago, so I'm not going to put eyeliner in my eye. I'm just going to smudge that out with my finger. And then I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of that pink and run it underneath the eye. So we're kind of mimicking the top half of the eye just on the bottom. So I'm going to take that same smudge brush and just take the tiniest little amount. Okay, so now we've mimicked the bottom, and I think just for highlight's sake, I'm just going to take this little Too Faced highlight. This is Too Faced Love Light in Blinded by the Light, and just put it in my inner corners just so I have a little bit of highlight. Okay, so there are eyes finished except for mascara. I think I'm going to do my eyebrows, which we're going to see how they go. I'm going to take this. I do have the Anastasia dip brow, but I don't think I'm emotionally prepared for that. So I do have a little sample of the Anastasia brow powder, and this is in medium brown. So I'm just going to choose, I'll probably choose probably the darker of the shades, and I'm just going to take a little angled brush, one that's a little bit denser. I'm going to take the same Target one, and I'm going to go into the darker shade and just fill in my brows. Lately, I have been using the brow pencil and a drugstore brow gel, and I've really been liking that combination. I haven't ever used this brow powder in brown before, so we'll see. I think I have it in caramel. I'm actually really digging this. I'm using the darker color in the medium brown duo. So there is one brow filled in. This is the filled in one and the non-filled in one. I actually really like how it looks. Okay, so there are the brows filled in. I'm actually really liking that. I think it looks really good. I just kind of fill in my brows, you know, so that they look like they have hair in them. The tail end of my brows have like 2 hairs on them, so I just do that. Let me fix this one. Okay, so there are the brows. I think for mascara today, I'm going to use this little Urban Decay Perversion mascara. I've used this before and I really like it. I don't have my lash curler, but I'm going to use this little sample. Okay, so that is 2 coats of the Urban Decay Perversion mascara. I really like this one. It's got a wetter formula, which is not necessarily my thing, but I like it. I'm torn between the what is this? YSL Volupte Tint-in-Oil, and this is Cherry My Cherie, or the Clinique Moisturizing Gloss in Black Honey. I think I'm going to go with the lip oil just to see how it feels. My lips are like super dry. So this is very liquidy. It's like running down. I'm just going to just take a little bit on my finger. I was almost like, okay, we're done, but you can tell that I normally don't have lip products on. Okay, so that is the YSL Volupte Tint-in-Oil in Cherry My Cherie. I thought I would hate it, but I actually really like it. I like how soft the color is. You can tell that it's pink, but it's not like fully opaque pink. It is a little bit oily, but I feel like it's going to be super moisturizing, which normally throughout the day I just put on chapstick, and so this is kind of like the next step up from it. Obviously way more expensive, but you know what I mean. So there is the lip color. I really like it. I'm not into like lipsticks or anything like that. I'm very minimal with my lips. Normally I have nothing on, so this I feel is a good compromise. So that is my finished makeup look. It's kind of like a pink, gray, smoky eye, and a cute pink lip. I thought everything went pretty well for just using samples. I was really excited to use up some of these samples and see how they performed, and I actually really liked almost everything. Actually, my skin looks really good. It doesn't feel like, it feels matte to the touch. It doesn't feel oily at all, which I'm surprised at because I didn't really like that I didn't really like the primer, the BB primer I used from Tarte, but it actually feels really good on my skin, and I actually really like that amazing concealer. It looks pretty good. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this first impression video. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this first impression. Just using like totally random products worked out pretty well for me. So I'm digging it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup video. I know a few of you have been asking, especially my sister, so I heard you, and I will be doing more makeup videos. They just take longer to film, so they'll probably be not like every week, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.